Hey guys, this is Aznwithbeard. This is going to be my second installment of the EVE Online Solo PvP Basics series. This one is going to be more about ship management. Now, what I mean by that is managing the heat on your ship, managing the modules on your ship, managing the active tank on your ship, managing the drones on your ship. I have two clips for you. One is going to be with me in a triple rep Myrmidon. The other one is going to be me in a Mauler. With the Myrmidon, I'm going to be focusing pretty much on gun, drone, and general ship management. With the Mauler, you're going to see I need to focus on tank management more than anything else. So this Myrmidon clip is pretty long and drawn out, but I'm going to start it now, and I'm going to try to do it at like 2x speed, and so I might be running through things a little bit quick, but let me try. Anyway, so I pretty much warp into a Caldari-ish gang. It's three caracals, a Bellicose, and a Drake, and they're at a large compound. They're looking for a fight. I'm looking for a fight. So I warp in, and we start aggroing. I immediately grab one of the caracals because they are the less tanky of them all. Maybe the Bellicose probably doesn't tank well either, but the caracal was near, so I drop my ogres on it, start blapping it. I'm not too worried about my tank because rapid light missile launcher caracals are absolute garbage despite what everybody says and don't do any DPS to BCs, so as you can see I'm not heating my reps at all. Boom, one caracal down already. Anyway, so the issue with this is, as you can see, they are just nuking my ogres. They are very good at killing ogres, so, and this is my primary form of DPS, so I keep having to pull, switch my drones, I drop some Valkyries, I switch to, the entire fight, they're very good at killing my drones, and I wind up at the end of this fight not having any left. But while I'm yanking drones, throwing out different drones, I also have to worry about range management. You can see me heating a micro warp drive to get closer to this Drake right now. I have to worry about overloading my guns, not capping myself out, running all my reps if I need to. So there's a lot of things with an active tank, especially when you're worried about your drones too, that you need to worry about. For some strange reason right now I'm shooting at this Drake despite the fact that there are three really crappy, squishy cruisers near me that I can probably tackle. And I think at this point I kind of give up and actually go for this Bellicose because I realize that I'm being stupid. So despite the Drake is in about half shields, I go for this Bellicose because I know it'll take me a little bit less time to kill it. I switch my aggro on that. I still have 3 ogres, I still have 2 Valks out, so I'm doing a decent amount of DPS. But as you can see, most of my drones are hurting. So you see me throughout the fight just pulling in drones, throwing out drones, pulling in drones, throwing out drones, and they were very good at this, and I didn't keep on the ball too much with it, but it's something that you definitely want to do if you're using a drone ship. You want to have all 5 of your drones that are out, 4 or 5, whatever you're using. You want to be visible with it. You want to see when somebody's hitting them. You want to see when somebody's killing them and webbing them, whatever they're doing, so you can, because especially on a Myrmidon or a Vex or anything like that, this is the lion's share of your DPS. So they're slowly whittling away my drones. I've killed, I think, 3 of them at this point. I think there's a caracal and a Drake left. 2 caracals and a Drake, so I've killed 2 so far. I'm working on this 3rd caracal. My tank has been in no issue whatsoever this entire fight. It's more just micromanaging my drones, managing my blasters, making sure I'm using the right ammo, scramming what I need to scram, stuff like that. And I'm doing pretty decently at it. I could have definitely done a little bit better with drone management, but unfortunately, like I said, rapid light missile caracals, my ogres were going from complete full health to half armor, and that's with 1 shooting on it. So at some point, a hound comes in to help me a little bit. I just pop a caracal, so now there's 2 left, and this hound is kind of shooting stuff at them at range, and they kind of keep throwing drones at it, and he's back and forth helping me, but at this point, I have almost no DPS left. I'm shooting 2 shield ships, and I'm using warriors and Valkyries for them because I have nothing left other than dishonor drones, and I'd rather not fight them with those because dishonor, etc. They didn't drop any on me. I have a fair amount of DPS in my blasters, but I'm really kind of lacking in the DPS department. I'm barely breaking this caracal. You keep seeing me pull in and out and in and out my drones, but that's what you're seeing me do, but at the same time you have to kind of watch what I'm doing with the module management on the bottom, micro warp driving, cap injecting, blasters, all that stuff. That's really something that takes a long time to get pretty good. And if you notice, all my modules, my micro, my scram, my blasters, they're all pretty heaty right now. That's the little red circle around. When it gets full away all the way around, the module just dies, if you don't know that. But in any case, so I'm just working on this Drake left, and it takes me friggin' forever because I have absolutely no drone DPS yet, and it's killing me. But I eventually get it done. I don't think I'm going to actually walk and talk about this the entire time I'm fighting, because the bomber keeps warping in and out. I can only break the friggin' Drake's passive tank with this bomber helping me, and and it took a very long time. So I think I'm going to pause the clip right now, because I think you get the general consensus. Now, this was at 2x speed, just because I didn't want to talk for 15 minutes. But on active tanking ships, it is very important that you watch all your modules correctly and precisely. You heat just when you need to heat. Like, I'm really only heating at this point when I need to break tanks, because I have almost no DPS left. It's very important to watch your drones on drone ships. If you just launch, whatever your primary DPS drones are, and you don't watch them on your actual drones in local space tab, if they get primed, you're done. You lose, I would say, 70% of your DPS on most of the drone boats. Again, this one really wasn't too oriented with tanking. You can see the only modules that don't have heat damage are my low slots, because I don't need to worry about that entire fight. They just didn't put out the DPS. It was more like just watching my drones and blasters and stuff like that. I eventually kill this Drake, and it goes down, and it was a good fight, and it was good. I'm gonna stop talking now because I have nothing really left to talk about, and we're gonna go on to the next clip. So thanks. Hold on. Alright, the second clip is going to be me in an active tanking mauler, which, if you've seen any of my videos before, I'm sure you've seen this mauler. I have Legion links for this fight, and I'm fighting two stabbers, which this fight kind of threw me for a loop, because stabbers, up until very recently, I guess, were terrible ships. And I've taken on way more in this mauler, and these stabbers wrecked my day, pretty much. I kind of underestimated them, and I almost paid for it. And this clip is going to be more about heat management with your active tank modules. What I want to talk about before I start the fraps is, I've seen so many people, or after we fight or whatever, good fight in local, blah blah blah, I burnt my rep out, I burnt my scram out, I burnt my guns out, and that's something that, as someone new to PvP, you're definitely gonna do. But as you get older, if you're still doing that, you are doing something very wrong. Pretty much, I almost never heat my guns past like 80%, because I don't want to take the chance that I'm going to lose all my DPS versus not having 10, 20, 30 extra DPS for the next 2 seconds. Same with active tanking. I very rarely burn out modules, because I very rarely go past what I see as the threshold where I need to stop. And on a lot of my videos, you'll actually see me just click off the rep or the gun or the scram if I think that I didn't turn off the module that time. Like, if I didn't shift click, turn off the gun, the rep, I will just completely click it and turn it off, and then restart again once the cycle is down, because I just want to make sure I'm not blowing up my guns, my tank, whatever the case is. So you'll see that in a lot of my videos. Okay, so back to this video. I'm going to start it now. Like I said, it's two maulers versus or two stabbers versus my mauler. I warp in to the medium that they're just camping me at. I actually had a good fight with them, like, not really a good fight. I warped in a tormentor and they derped me. So I'm getting vengeful in local, as you'll see. I'm going to assume their link alt or their buddy at some point said, don't come in, they're going to dirt me. But in any case, I try to catch Nil, and Nihilist, whatever you pronounce his name. He's kind of kiting me, so I just grab this Ollie Bear, who isn't kiting me quite as hard. And as you can see, I just overload immediately from the get-go, because I want to kill this stabber. And as you see, he's now nuding me. I'm thinking this is a medium rep, but it's even worse because it's a small, so it cycles super fast, and it just destroys my cap the entire fight. I am able to completely tank them. If it was just a DPS, they didn't have any newts, this wouldn't have been a fair fight at all, because I'm just wrecking you know, I can wreck them very easily. But the fact of the matter is, he has, I don't know if he had 1 or 2 newts, small newts, I don't remember, but my cap is just being wrecked. I can't run my guns because I'm in an Amar ship. I have, you know, 2 hobgoblins for DPS, so it's very, very important that I inject as much as I can. And unfortunately, my injector decides not to auto reload sometimes, so you have to watch that when you're active tanking. And as you can see, I'm pretty much losing this fight at this point. I'm heating my modules before I even have cap so that I can try to get 2 cycles out of them. I'm heating my injector. I'm heating my guns when I can. I'm still bleeding structure at this point. I'm barely holding on, but the stabber's just about to die. And at this point, overload until you explode, or close to it. Like I said, don't ever do it until they explode, but try to overload as much as you possible at this point. I'm not taking any heat damage with my modules yet because I'm not cycling them enough. But every time I can, I try to heat my guns, try to heat my reps, because I know that I might not get another cycle. See, because I heated him, I'm getting 2 cycles before his nuke comes out, and at this point he's out of range of his nuke, and now he's back in range because I just micro towards him. But he might have capped himself out at this point because I don't have any scrams on me. So at this point I'm fairly safe, and his nuke comes back. I'm fairly safe at this point though because he's almost dead, and the other guy's too far away to nuke me. So I don't immediately. I have the cap to hit my micro warp drive right now, but I don't because I want to make sure I'm full of cap before I burn towards him, because he's obviously kiting. So you just, before I even attempt to move, he's not leaving the field. He didn't warp, so I know he still wants to fight me. I hit my cap injector, and then I start mowing towards him. I know he's not injected. I know I have now sustainable cap until at least I get next to him. And even if he does have a nuke, there's not 2 of them anymore. So I'm only tanking 350-ish DPS instead of 700. So at this point, as soon as I can grab him, I've won this fight. I'm not even injecting my cap unless I need to at this point. I'm now full cap. I've won the fight. He can warp at any second at this point, and I don't know why he doesn't. And at some point, his speed just completely drops from micro warp drive speed to right now. It just drops, and I just immediately roll up on him and tackle him, and that's it. And that's all she wrote for this fight. But you can see with an active tank how quick you have to respond to neuting, injecting, pretty much, you know, your reps. It's very buffer tanks when you're PvPing. It's like easy street. You click, you know, F1, F2, scram, have a nice day. With active tanking, you have to be hovering over the mouse, you know, with clicking things every 3 seconds. And it's a lot harder than I think people give it credit for. People who have never tried it. But you can get way better fights with it. You can, you know, tank more things than you think you can. There's a lot of fun engagements to be had with an active tank. And you can see right now I'm not heating my guns. 1, because I don't need to, and 2, because they're at a threshold where I don't really want to heat them anymore. Because God forbid something else warps in at this point, which there's nobody in local to do that, but just in case, I want to have a little bit of extra heat damage if I absolutely need to break a tank of something. So that's it. I eat through this stabber, and that's, you know, that's all she wrote for this fight. This fight is actually going to be in my next video. I'm doing like a true Amar only kind of PvP video. It's going to be followed by Galente, then Kaldari, then Minmatar, and then maybe we'll have some faction ships followed by some pirate ships. And this is all if I can get it done within the next 7 months, something like that. But in any case, I hope this kind of helped. I know with active tanking, everything is operating very, very fast, so you might want to watch this a couple times and, you know, focus maybe on what I'm doing with my drones one time, focus maybe what I'm doing with my guns another, you know, with my tank another time. But my best advice to you is never heat anything past 80 unless you absolutely have to, because you're just going to inevitably burn something out, lose DPS, lose tank, lose something. And I've seen so many people, and I've won so many fights because I very, very rarely burn stuff out, and the people I'm fighting a lot of times do. And, you know, it's not the best way to win, but winning anyway is still winning, and I'll take it. If you have any questions, please comment in, you know, the comments in either YouTube or on my Eve. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions or suggestions for anything else I should try to teach you guys, drop me a line, send me an email, anything like that. I'm always open for PMs as well. Thanks and have a good day.